But speaking of that, just today, Vintage, a jury has found that the Sig P320 was defectively designed in Cambridge police lawsuit. So this is just today. This is the third lawsuit now that Sig has lost on the design of the P320. So I don't know if this. I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice, but I don't know if this is in any way precedence setting. If that makes sense, that they are.
It would to me in my legal advice brain. Okay, it would seem that way.
Yes.
Not a lawyer, but yeah, it would seem to be precedent setting.
So this is updated 7 hours ago, July 31st, 2025. Jury finds Sig P320 defectively designed in Cambridge police lawsuit. A group of law enforcement professionals from across the country are urging the House of Representatives to kill a Senate-passed amendment aimed at giving New Hampshire-based Sig Sauer immunity from future lawsuits regarding its P320 9mm handgun. Yes, and this also comes at a time where in New Hampshire they are trying to lobby to get them protected from all litigation against their design of the P320. Them specifically.
How is it not criminal?
Yeah, that's a strange one to me. Like, we're living in a what do you call it? A technocracy, or it's the one where it's a company run, corporatocracy, whatever it is. But it's where a corporation can actually just lobby the government to be like, hey, can you guys not sue us anymore? Can you make it so regular people can't sue us? Like if our gun goes off or they get hurt. A Cambridge police officer and his legal team convinced a federal jury that the Sig P320 was defectively designed and caused him injury when it unintentionally discharged while on duty, but he won't receive the damages he sought in the case. Now, this is a very interesting case because the jury sided with him that the P320 was defectively designed. However, Jacques Desarrois won't receive any actual compensatory, and punitive damages after the jury sided with Sig that the officer voluntarily and, excuse me, this is a great line, voluntarily and unreasonably used the P320, knowing that it was defective and dangerous.
What's the context of which he used it? What do they mean by that?
That's the thing. Sig says, listen, bro, you knew it was dangerous. You knew it was defective. That's Sig's argument. Is like, Your Honor, we don't owe him a dime. He knew it was dangerous and used it anyways.
This is listen, Sig. You keep calling us Sig. What you mean is IWI. Look, you knew. I should probably stop before I get you me and you zucked. Holy shit. Good work, Mr. Ron Cohen. You're doing great work.
Yeah. So just to be clear, so the jury sided with Sig that the officer voluntarily and unreasonably used the P320, knowing that it was defective and dangerous, according to the verdict. So everybody agrees, apparently, that it's a defective design, but that, hey, you knew that, bro. Dude, that's like, I don't know, getting in a car that's like, I don't know, reasonably unsafe, and it like blows up, and you're like, bro, you knew it was unsafe when you got in.
You knew, like your car starts, like you can't brake, and you're like, you get into an accident, and you're blamed for the accident. Like you should have known that you couldn't stop yourself from accelerating. That's how it sounds to me. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's insane. Victim blaming intensifies. True. All right, so the lawyers say, while we are disappointed that he won't be getting any compensatory damages, we are happy that a jury, now for the third straight time, has found the P320 is defectively designed, and those defects caused Officer Desrosier's injury, said attorney Robert W. Zimmerman of Salt Mangalutsi Bedensky, which represents hundreds of injured SIG gun owners. Now, Mr. Zimmerman, Austin, if you're not familiar, they're also the same ones that are representing the 3 wrongful death suits against SIG currently. So they just won this case, and they're also representing the airmen that died.
Oh, wow.
It's the same lawyer, and it's the same legal firm, Mr. Zimmerman. So, and he has a successful, at this point, a track record of beating Sig in these cases. So,
yeah, this is like, yeah, somebody just said it. This reminds me a lot of the Ford Pinto kind of thing. It's a perfect, perfect example.
Wasn't that the one that actually would just randomly
It would
spontaneously
explode,
combust?
yeah. And they basically, the way that Ford looked at it is, instead of recalling it, they figured the amount of deaths and how much it would actually cause to or cost to pay that off or deal with it, and they just said, well, hell, it would probably cost us less to just have people die and just fight out in court versus recalling the entire product line. That's the Pinto deal.
Well, isn't that a line from Fight Club? It's like when recall is X dollars, but lawsuits and litigation is X minus anything, basically, they won't do a recall. It's not until that number gets big enough that it's like, okay, now it's actually worth it. There's a real formula for it, right? Yeah. All right. Let me keep reading here. So so Mr. Zimmerman, who represents another 100 SIG gun owners, and I believe he's representing all 3 of the wrongful death lawsuits as well. The law firm is calling for the weapon to be recalled or redesigned. That would mean that they would have to admit it was problematic, so they probably won't do that. So, Newington-based SIG posted a lengthy statement titled P320 Information on its website about news reports involving law enforcement and the military. The P320 cannot, under any circumstances, discharge without the trigger first being moved to the rear. This has been verified through exhaustive testing by Sig Sauer engineers, the U.S. military, several major federal and state law enforcement agencies, and independent laboratories. Now, this line here, Austin, this is true. So have you seen the new testing that's come out by several individuals where a half or even a quarter trigger press is all that's required to disable all of the internal safeties on the SIG?
Yes, I have seen it.
Well, actually, let me see if it's still up on my story, because I uploaded one as well. Good day ago. Is it still here? It is not here. Damn it. But essentially, there was another one where, just by moving the slide itself back and forth, like as it's supposed to, semi-automatic handgun, with the trigger like half a millimeter pressed, right, gets the striker to fall. And it's different on each P320 because LFD pointed this out to me. Every year, Sig Sauer has changed the trigger bar and geometry on the P320. So on some years, it takes more travel, and on some years, it takes less travel. And on certain years, they changed it multiple times within that year. So you can get P320s from 3 different years, and you will have 3 different trigger bars that will have 3 different safety defeating locations.
Aren't some of them mixed too? Like they would just throw some of them together?
Well, so that's another theory too, is that because they're quote unquote modular, by the time some random person in 2023 picks up a used P320 or whatnot, like who knows what's actually inside of it, or at the factory, are they mixing and matching parts that come in that are essentially the exact same look? At one point, it was theorized that the takedown safeties, which are also a plausible cause of it, were differentiated, but then they decided to machine them and paint them the exact same color, because it used to be one was silver, one was black, but then after a while they just both became black, so they're impossible to tell apart, which is genius. Another a great move by Sig.
I mean, how much of this is just also abysmal, like not just quality control, but like giving QC like some kind of chance? Like this just sounds insane.
Well, so that's the thing is for me, it's multifactorial. It's not just that I think the design is less safe than other designs, right? I think that's just pretty standard. I think it's less safe. And then you filter in the bad parts, the bad QC, the possible bad assembly, and then you throw in modularity of different slides and frames. Like you've seen like how much gap can be between the slide and frame on certain models, where you're like bouncing it up and down on the rails, and it's like it should not have this much play in there. And because of that, with reduced sear contact, I mean, just the way that the striker safety is designed, rather than being a plunger, a solid piece of steel, it's like this tiny bent stamped piece with a tiny little spring that has been missing or broken on certain P320s in military service, which is always fun. All right. So, according to the complaint, oh, sorry, I should say this. So, Bedensky said the Cambridge, Massachusetts Police Department has had four unintended discharges after the department switched to the P320. According to the complaint, Desrossiers had his department issued P320, excuse me, secured to his belt when it unintentionally discharged while walking towards the police station in October 2019. At no time did Officer Desrossiers touch the trigger, and at no other item touched the trigger when the gun discharged, the complaint reads. The bullet impacted Desrossiers' scrotum, left inner thigh, and exited his right knee, causing devastating injury.
Wasn't there a chick who had her femur shattered?
I mean, there's been three people who have died from it. So, but yeah, no, the leg injuries are not cool. But no, so this is funny because according to the complaint, he had it secured to his belt. I imagine in a holster. It just says secured to his belt. So, what are they claiming was voluntary and unreasonably used with the P320 while knowing that it was defective and dangerous?
Like, was the default sidearm a Glock, and then he opted to carry a P320 as part of his job, or what?
Well, I mean, they adopted the P320. So, and then it says the department no longer uses the P320 after this. So, Houston, Texas police officer Richard Fernandez was also filed a lawsuit after reporting his P320 went off by itself and shot him on January 20th. The gun was holstered and he did not touch it, according to the suit. The lawsuit comes days after U.S. Air Force Security Forces airman was killed in Wyoming while wearing his Sig Sauer M18 pistol, the military version of the P320. But again, we're not sure of all the details there quite yet. In March, a group of 22 plaintiffs filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Concord over the design of the pistol. Bedensky says the injuries to Desrossiers should never have happened. The Cambridge Police Department, like many other law enforcement agencies nationwide, made the responsible decision to abandon the P320 and has purchased other, safer alternative pistols for its officers, a statement reads.
How much smoke do you need to prove maybe there's a fire? I don't. The copium about the Sig as of late has been so. At first, it was funny. Like I made a video on Yankee Marshall being a gay Southern gentleman about it, but now it's turned into something where it's like I used to think like being personally emotionally invested in a brand was kind of a meme a little bit, you know, like surely nobody is really that nuts about it, but the last couple days, that's true. It's a thing. People get real mad about it.
Speaking of Yankee Marshall, so he was on with Randy. That went super sideways. But then he went on with Wyoming Gun Project, the guy who got his P320 to go off with the minimal trigger press.
Yeah.
And in that case, he was just made to look like an absolute buffoon because he had no idea what he was talking about compared to Wyoming Gun Project, who actually understood how the P320 worked.
He's in the chat right now. Yeah. I mean, I knew that Yankee was going to bring him on to that and just be like no offense, Wyoming Gun Project, but when you're doing a live stream with somebody with 300, even he doesn't know how irrelevant he is or relevant he is. But in my opinion, I think Yankee was going to bring him on kind of just to get him in a gotcha a bunch of times and not let him speak. And it ended up backtracking twice or backpedaling twice. But like him acting like he didn't know what a primer was or, doing the test live fire. And he's like, listen here. I know. Listen, look. I think he edited that in. I want to check how he edited that. And he like live round, like right by his face, dude. Like that was a video. If you have a like to dislike ratio thing enabled, you need to go to Yankee Marshall's channel and check out that video.